Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is July 18th, 2025, and you are listening to episode 212 of Midnight Film Society. I'm your host, Damian Sherman. Joining me today, as always, is...
Derick McDuff.
On today's show, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's James Gunn's Superman. We'll get into a deep dive of the biggest release of the week and possibly of the summer. But before that, we'll go over some movie and TV news, get into some of what we've been watching, and some more stuff and things. Right into the show, Midnight Film Society at gmail.com, Midnight Film on Threads, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Subscribe on Pocket Cast, YouTube Podcasts, Spotify. Rate and review it on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend, family member, or stranger, what's up, dude? How we doing?
Doing okay. A bit under the weather today, but I'm powering through for the podcast. I've got my liquid IV that I'm chugging down so that I can get through this, because a lot of missed last time, so there's a lot of big summer releases to talk about. Not just Superman, some other real big ones.
Yeah, not just Superman. Many other movies that come out in the past month or so that we've been away. So definitely a lot of stuff to dig into. I haven't been to the theater. I just came back from the theater. We'll talk about what I saw at the very end here. But I was a little late to the theater because I didn't know what time movies start. I usually go to Regal because I get Regal Unlimited, as I've mentioned before, and they should sponsor us. The number of times I've mentioned it on this podcast. I know Film Spotting does get sponsored by Regal Unlimited, so maybe I'll email those guys or ask them to give me a shout out or give me a what do they call a reference? Give me a good reference and say.
Until they do, I'm going to keep saying that the AMC gang is supreme, superior to the Regal crew. Hashtag. What did she say? Fucking Nicole Kidman. I'm so sick that I can't even think.
She
feels
says,
good in a place like this.
Yeah, heartbreak feels good in a place.
That's what it is. Heartbreak feels good.
Yeah.
I should know that. It's a bumper sticker on my car. So that'll give you an idea of how off I am today.
Speaking of AMC theaters will now warn moviegoers about this common complaint about when movies actually start. I was a little late to the viewing of the movie I just saw that I just came from because I assume I've forgotten that my local theater doesn't have as many egregious ads as Regal does. Regal is now up to, on average, about 25 to 30 minutes of ads. So I got to the movie about 15 minutes late. I thought, okay, I'll sit around for another 10 minutes or so. No. I missed the first 5 minutes of the film I went to see. So a little disappointed there, but this has been. I heard rumors. I heard commotion of this happening. So it looks like it is a nigh official. What do you think about this, Derick?
It's good stuff. I always kind of time it anyway. Just look at the app and I'm like, okay, I'll get there about 25 minutes late, or 20 minutes late. I will usually leave my house at the time it's going to start so that I can get there and park and everything and walk in right when Nicole Kidman is walking down the aisle or whatever. But this is good because I do, like I said, have the AMC app, so it does tell me 25 to 30 minutes of previews or whatever it might be. So, that's a nice little perk.
Yeah, and it's also, it should have coincided with the rise of reserved seating because I can understand, if you didn't have reserved seating, then you would just, you get to the theater as soon as you can to get the best seat in the house, right? But now you can reserve your seat and now when the movie starts. So, should have happened a long time ago, should have happened, in my mind, coinciding with the rise in reserved seating, right? Yeah,
that would have been a good way to do it, but better late than never, I suppose.
I suppose so, yeah. So hopefully that'll also roll out to the Regals, which is kind of the other. It's kind of the there's two big theater chains in the country, right? AMC and Regal. I think you could think third place would probably go to something like what's the one that started in Texas, Austin.
Not Village Roadhouse. It's I think Cinemark might be. I know it's not what you're saying, but Cinemark might be number 3.
Cinemark might be number 3. What is it the place called that they serve dinner? They have a big thing about not having people talk on their phones in the theaters, right?
It's like a fancy one. There's like one in LA,
Yeah.
Those are kind of more like appointment ones.
Yes,
exactly. I'm not gonna get that in my current state of health. I'm not gonna be able to pull anything today.
Austin Theater Chain. Let's see. I know it's a fancy name. Let's see. Alamo Draft House. There we go. Got it. Yeah. So Alamo Draft House probably should probably do a similar thing too, because they're known for being like the cool indie kids that tell people not to talk. So that'd be cool to see.
They're like Dark Horse. You got Marvel and
Yes.
DC, and then you've got them, and they're like Dark Horse. Like we're kind of cool and edgy,
Exactly, Dark Horse.
Spawn.
Or
That's
Spawn.
Image, but
That's
whatever.
Image, yeah. Exactly. So that's cool to see. So yeah, some movies that are coming out pretty soon coincide with seeing movies in theaters that I'm very excited to see. Project Hail Mary is one of those things. Almost a decade after The Martian, also written by Andy Weir. Another Andy Weir project is coming to fruition on the big screen. This one called Project Hail Mary. Derick, have you read Project Hail Mary?
I have not. I've heard good things about it, and it's been selling out of work, obviously, since that preview came up. But, is it one that I should check out before I see the movie?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's a very quick read. It's very pulpy. It's sci-fi, space pulpy. Not to give away too much of the book or the premise of it. It's another Martian thing of a regular dude goes into space to do space shit and to science the shit out of it. This one's starring Ryan Gosling. There's one of the top comments on the trailer on YouTube is, Ryan, we have another lonely guy character for you. And Ryan says, "Don't say no more. I'm in." In relation to things like Drive and other movies that are not coming to mind again for me, but yeah, he's that guy sort of, but playing a down to earth science teacher who's sent to space to, I think the premise is like restart the sun again. It's very like sunshine-esque. Yeah. So I would recommend not watching the trailer again. Not watching trailers is probably the way to go in generally, but specifically for this one as well.
That's me, yeah.
There's a thing that they show at the end that is very it's kind of half of the story. Half of the story is him going to space, surviving, figuring out how to do the thing. Second half is what's teased at the end of the trailer, so I won't go into that anymore. So yeah, looks good from what I saw. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I mean, and I'm a big Gosling fan. Everybody who listens to this podcast knows that I love the goose, so I'll be there for that at the very least. Yeah.
Let me see. Obviously, was the director of The Martian was Mr.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, thank you. So you got some brain cells still working over there.
There's some synapses still going, I guess.
Still firing. So Project Hail Mary movie is directed by, let me see here. Oh, it's a 2021 novel. I thought that came out a lot earlier. So it's a fairly recent adaptation. So we have Phil Lord and Christopher Miller directing Project Hail Mary. So, yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, all right. Have they done live action before? I know they're animation guys.
They are very much animation guys. Let me scroll down to their filmography. So they started off with... Well, they started off with technically Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which was animation. They did 21 Jump Street, so that was their first live action thing.
They did the Jump Street movies. I forgot about that. Okay.
Yep,
I love those movies.
They did a really insane movie called Brigsby Bear in 2017, written by Kyle Mooney, I believe. So that was a very strange, obscure...
They were going to do... They shot 3/4 of Solo, and then it got completely redone.
Yeah, famous movie took from them. Yeah, so should be a fun time. Next up, we have Weapons, the newest film from Barbarian director Zach Kreger. So very ominous, very cryptic trailer from him. So definitely looking forward to this one as well.
Okay. I mean, I really like the first half of Barbarian, so
as did many people. So we have a couple more. Roofman is the newest movie from talking about 21 Jump Street. Channing Tatum is in this film. Sort of a retelling of a real life event where somebody lived in the roof of a Toys R Us. I don't know if you heard tell of that true real life story.
That rings a bell. That sounds like it's like one of those things you hear and you're like, is that an internet rumor or is it true? And then you see a thing on TikTok that's like, can you believe this crazy story? Or an Instagram reel, whatever.
Yeah, completely made by AI at this point. Exactly. Breaking news: I'm back on TikTok after a 6 month hiatus, and I'm scrolling faster than ever because the first time through I was like, "Ooh, this new thing with new style of videos, new format." It's Vine-esque sometimes, but also longer form stuff can come out there. Ooh, new candy. Yum, yum, yum. And then it got stale. It got pretty stale. Then the whole thing with possibly canceling it got me really off of it. So, but I jumped back on recently, and I'm just scrolling so fast because, understanding the format and jokes a lot of people are using the same style of jokes. And it's like every third one is an ad. Every third one is somebody selling either, their wares. People are, becoming content creators off of the videos they made. So that's kind of annoying in my perspective. From my perspective,
you just gotta you got a bad algorithm, man. You gotta start. I don't know what you did to your algorithm, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm swiping through. I'm just mentioning that because you mentioned the this sent me an old man yells at cloud thing. I'm mentioning that because you mentioned reels. They do. That's the other thing I swipe past very quickly is if I just see, not an AI generated video itself, but just like you said, you can't believe this thing happened, and now it's even worse because it has that AI sounding voice with the AI text on the screen, and that just immediately turns me off as it should.
Those are
most
rough,
people. Yeah.
There's a really good episode of John Oliver where he goes into like AI slop and how that's ruining our parents' generation, and it's really great and interesting, and everyone should check it out. And I'm glad that YouTube is demonetizing AI. And so is TikTok, I think.
That is very good.
Hopefully
and
we'll see less of that. Yeah.
TikTok should do it. And one more thing before we move on, because I'm noticing a new thing on TikTok, which is videos that start out looking real, and then they do that thing that AI videos used to do. Pretty poorly. We're like, oh, this is just a weird, fucked up nightmare dream that I'm watching now, and it just sort of descends from there. Now, what's happening is it looks real at the start, and then it's just like, oh, it's cake. That person was cake, and it was just not real. Fuck, it got me. So that's not great from any perspective.
We are on different sides of TikTok, I think.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Everyone has their it's so crazy how everyone's version of TikTok is so unique. I just get Jet2 holiday things. That's all I get.
Well, yeah, that's the trend running around is the Jet2 holiday. Yeah.
Everyone loves it. Jet2 holiday.
Save 20 pounds. That's $400 for a family. Yeah. One more trailer. The Running Man starring everyone's favorite. Yeah. Everyone's favorite Top Gun Maverick star and Twister star. His name is Glenn Powell. Yeah. So it's fine. Again, never watched trailers, and this one doesn't get me excited only because it's trading on a very similar theme and messaging of internet bad and watching people do things for money. Isn't that crazy? We're living in a world where people are doing shitty things for money. And it's like, yeah, of course it is. We know this.
See, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
I did see the trailer for this. I was at a movie and it came on. So the reason I'm excited for this is twofold. One, I fucking love the 80s Running Man. And I know this is different, so this is closer to the King novel, but that movie still has a special place in my heart. And two, Edgar Wright. I'm like, all right, let's go. Edgar Wright cannot steer me wrong, so I'm on board for this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously give it a shot. I'll watch it, but yeah, just dystopian stuff, post-apocalyptic stuff, in addition to isn't internet shitty? It's also treading on the very similar and very talked about trend of billionaire. There's probably going to be at the top of this, at the end of this, a similar Squid Game thing, and a very because again, that's probably my biggest comparison point here. Squid Game. Squid Game did the thing, so the Simpsons did it, because I got the thing right here in my face. So, Simpsons did it, Squid Game did it, so I feel like Squid Game was.
Yeah, but this is based on a thing from the Stephen King wrote in the 70s, way before Squid Game.
So that's kind of sort of proved my point of it's been done before. Is sort of what I'm saying.
Well, okay. Sure, but it's like when John Carter came out and people were like, this is just a ripoff of Star Wars, and it's like, no, Star Wars is a ripoff of John Carter. What are you talking about? I
did see that, but did I tell you I saw John Carter?
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit. That's a fucking good movie. I covered it under Underrated.
Yes, it's a very good movie. Yeah.
I rewatched it after we talked about it. I love that movie. Still slaps. I'm just waiting. I'm like, when are people gonna It feels like it's gonna be a cult classic any day now.
Yes, exactly. I enjoyed myself very much with that. So yeah, those are all the trailers that were worth talking about this week. Let's move on to summer movie wager. We're in the hot season, man. It's fucking boiling here. As I turned off my AC 12 minutes ago, and I'm already sweating. so yeah, summer movie wager not going well for Damian. If you heard this before, take a shot. Not going well for Damian. We currently on July. Today is July 15th. I have sitting on a hot 30 points total.
No, you refresh that page real fast. You went down. Actually,
did I go down already? Okay.
Yeah, you got.
That's hilarious. I literally loaded this 2 hours ago, and I'm down 2 points.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm at 28 points. Well, so did everyone else. Oh wow, look at that. Jermaine, Jermaine Lucy lost 2
F1
points.
Jumped above Final Destination.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's very funny. So yeah, thank you for that. Sitting at 28 points currently.
Anytime, buddy.
Derick is sitting at 46 points, so almost double my score there. So yeah, how do you feel about the season so far?
I am feeling good. Obviously, my looking at my score, like I said, I'm 48 to your 20, 46 to your 28. I think that's a good sizable lead. Obviously, things could change. My number one movie of the year still hasn't come out yet, but I've got. So maybe the Smurfs and the bad guys and there's got one other thing that I don't have on my list. Maybe if they all come out and kill it, I'll be in trouble. If all three of those do, what else was the other one?
Fantastic Four, First Steps, Smurfs, and Bad Guys 2 have yet to come out.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, if Fantastic Four does real bad and those other two do real well, then obviously you'll beat me. I'm gonna lose Elio, so that's 5 points. I'm gonna lose, but
all right,
we'll see how it goes. But I'm thinking I'm doing well, and I was also looking at because that's how we're doing in comparison to each other. I was also looking at the overall scores, and there are 4,206 players overall playing this game. Right. I'm doing, I'm kind of on the top half of that. At 1320. I think I'm gonna jump up further. Do you know what place you're in out of the 4,206?
4,206. I'm at 3,905. Maybe.
Yes.
Bringing up the
Not
rear.
Great. Not great. You're what's the bottom rear. 300. Bottom 300 out of 4,000 players.
Hey, comeback, baby. Everyone loves a comeback. She's like Kim Kardashian.
You got a comment on her back in that video.
Yeah. All right. I'll turn it around. It's possible.
We'll turn it around like Kim Kardashian in that video.
So yeah, that's where we're at, halfway into summer 2025. Good luck to you, sir, because you need it.
Good luck to you. I'm gonna have to. I'm mulling over what movie I'm gonna make you watch this year.
All right, hopefully it's a good one or a terrible one, whichever way you go. All right. See. So with that, let's get to what we've been watching. Like we said, it's been about a month since we've done this, so a lot of stuff on the plate to talk about. One thing I would start off with is my favorite movie of all time is No Country for Old Men. One of the movies that has not had a 4K re-release of all of the. I don't believe any of the Ethan or Joel Coen films have had a 4K release as of yet. Somebody can fact check me later on. But yeah, there's a very nice, not a steelbook, but a slipcase. Very nice presentation. Very nice booklet came with it, as most 4K releases do. Obviously, looks incredible on my 4K TV. Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time, and it's one of the most popular movies of all time. Won Best Picture for a reason. It's immaculately shot. Looks great on 4K. I wrote a little bit on Letterboxd when I watched this. You rewatch a movie a lot, so you're going to when you write about stuff like that and you watch things a lot, you're gonna write about the minutia, and that's exactly what I did with this one. I basically said the last half of this movie has a lot of cross dissolves, and I thought it was very interesting the way they use cross dissolves in the movie. Let me just pull up my review real quick. The scenes that dissolve into each other are Carla Jean talking to Ed Tom dissolves into Sugar waiting by the side of the road for his next victim, who will eventually be Carla herself. So I thought that was very thematic there. The last time we see spoilers for a almost 20-year-old movie at this point. The last time we see Llewellyn Moss, played by Josh Brolin, he fades to black very quickly. So that just cuts to a very quick end. Analogous to his death there. The night of the shooting, after he's dead, Tommy Lee Jones' character surveys the carnage. He goes back and looks into the room. The camera, Sugar is hiding in the closet just before Tom leaves. The camera lingers on the coin that Sugar was going to use, or did use, to open the vent. I assume looking for the briefcase with the money in it. The camera stays on the coin on the ground and is face up, because of course it is. A couple more things. The scene, one of the last scenes dissolves into Ed Tom driving into his uncle's farmhouse, where he's told one of the most important lines of any film I've ever seen.
When did he die?
1909.
Oh, I mean, was it right away or in the night, or when was it?
I believe it was that night. She buried him the next morning, digging in that hard old caliche. What you got ain't nothing new. This country's hard on people. You can't stop what's coming. It ain't all waiting on you. That's vanity.
Quote, what you got ain't nothing new. It ain't all waiting on you. That's vanity. And I think that summarizes the theme of the movie. Is this country, this world has always been violent. It's not waiting on him. It's not waiting on anybody to fix it all. I think there's always been the cyclical nature of older people looking back on their life and looking back on the environment, looking back on the world and going, this shit sucks. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket, So I think that is incredibly, nuanced and mature look. And one of the biggest reasons this movie is my favorite movie of all time. The final dissolve involves Sugar walking away from the wreck into Ed Tom's. The final dissolve involves Sugar walking away from the wreck when he at the end when the car hits him. That scene dissolves into Ed Tom's heart-shattering soliloquy, representing the evil he failed to stop, hopefully finally fading from his worn, flattened mind. So it is just an impeccably edited film, shot film, acted film, written film. It's No Country for Old Men, one of the best ever.
Very nice. I have two questions for you about this movie.
Yeah.
So you said you just got the 4K.
Yeah.
So did you get that because of the Criterion sale going on at Barnes and Noble?
Maybe I did. It's possible.
Yes. I had a feeling. My other question is another part of the reason you were so desiring to rewatch it and get the 4K is because of the blank check bounce, because they are of course doing the Coen brothers now.
It might be as well. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Couple reasons.
Damian, I know you well. What can I say?
You do know me well. Yeah, they are. They're doing the Coen brothers filmography right now. They've by the time of this recording, they already had put out the first one, Blood Simple. They talked about it. I didn't rewatch it. I've watched it many times before. But yeah, great film, great filmmakers. Can't wait to check out that series.
Yeah, very excited for that. Can't wait for their episode on Lebowski, which is my favorite Coen brothers film.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one as well. All right, let's get to something we both watched 28 years later. This is, of course, Danny Boyle's follow-up to not one of his first movies. I mean, it's an early film. One of his first films are in the early 2000s, one of the movies that used, I remember specifically this movie and things like Collateral and even the Episode 1 of Star Wars used digital photography. Danny Boyle obviously using iPhones in this movie, so he's no stranger to using, not rudimentary tech, but, interesting tech.
That first one was shot on a potato.
It was, and it does not look good. I think the guys on the
shot on
like
negative 480p, honestly.
Something like that. So yeah, this is one of the biggest movie releases of the year. I don't know where it sits on the summer movie wager. Let me check real quick.
It's
number
at
10?
number 8.
Number 8, gotcha.
Or number 9. It and Elio that came out the same week, and it beat Elio, but Elio might pass it. I mean, they're both gonna drop off once a couple more movies come off. So
Yeah, there you go. All right, so written by Alex Garland. We've talked about on the show before about how Alex Garland is a fantastic writer. He's had a hit and miss record, I think, with his written and directed stuff. Derick, what did you think of 28 Years Later?
Yeah, this is, to touch on the Boyle and the Garland of it all. I was most excited for this movie because it's the two of them working together again. I think they collaborated very, very well in the past, and then since then, Boyle's gone off and done like Yesterday and a bunch of movies that I don't really care for, and Garland has made some good movies and some not so good movies since he's primarily writer and director now, but now he's just a writer on this one. And this is when I was like very interested to see them go back to this world, and full spoilers, this movie, I appreciated it. I was very interested by the themes that it was touching on. There's some really moving performances and really great moments, but also it didn't really work for me. There's a lot of stuff in this where it's like okay, like this is interesting, and then it'll be like weird, like just have these weird like student film almost shots in it that I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then it'll be like here's a Richard Kipling poem, and B-roll of like they'll see the same B-roll of like medieval times archers shooting, and it feels very like, look at me, this is so avant-garde and weird, and I didn't love that. I also really was not a fan of the ending, and I don't mean like the last like bit with Jodie Comer and the but that's all good and well. But the very end when you see the code of the kid from the beginning. And he comes back dressed as like an infamous pedophile, and he's doing Power Ranger moves on zombies. It's like, what the fuck even is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a mixed bag for me, and it's a movie that I've listened to a few podcasts since it came out. Obviously, we talked about Blank Check. They did an episode on it, the film casting, and I really appreciated a lot of the opinions, and don't disagree necessarily with any of the opinions of people who like it. And I'm legitimately like glad that people liked it, but ultimately it did. And I've talked to some people in real life who really really like this is one of their favorite movies of the year, and for me I'm like, that's all really cool, but and there's this movie, I love that it's trying some interesting stuff. I will always admire an admirable failure, but to me it still is an admirable failure.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Now is this coming from your phobia of large cocks? Is that part of this?
The gigantic. There's so much dong in this movie. Like, and I don't even like. That's fine. That's all well and good. Like it's a Danny Boyle movie. I expect to go see some dong in it. Like
right.
Cillian Murphy was hanging in the first one of these, I believe. So that was a neutral. That was neither a positive nor a negative for me.
Right.
All the because those they're like it's like a baby's arm holding an apple.
Yeah, some massive dongs in this film. Some small ones too. You can appreciate the small ones, but yeah, some big old beefy sausages in this film.
Also, I will say there is one part of this movie and one character that I fucking loved. Do you want to take a guess who that was?
I'm gonna guess that was Ralph Fiennes.
No, I mean he's great. He's good.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong, but
Okay.
no, like that was not the part that I was like, I just want to see a movie about this guy, and that was Eric, the fucking Swedish guy who just shows up. They kind of they introduce him kind of like out of nowhere, and then he just like dies very quickly, just to move the plot along. But like he was great. Like he was just saying all the shit that like I was thinking the whole movie. Like there's that whole scene where it's like a very touching scene, and like about like where like the zombie gives birth or whatever, and he's the only one I think in any of these movies to say the word zombie. Is like, that's a zombie baby, we gotta shoot it. You're like and you're like watching the movie, you're like okay, I get that this movie's doing something very touching, but like he's not wrong. Like if you're in that situation, that's the correct reaction.
It is, yeah. And I love the part where Jodie Comer is having that like hallucinations about her father, right? She's like, Daddy, and she's holding her son. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with her?
Yeah. He's so good. I was like, give me a whole fucking movie about this guy. Like he should have been the whole intro. Like the whole movie should have just been that. It should have started with that beginning or the part where it first introduces him and his crew. Like he could have been the end for me, and then he finds this like crazy, the society that's living on the island or whatever, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. But, I enjoyed whenever he was on screen for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Let me start this off by having like, big brain sort of geopolitical thing about this movie and about like England in general, because I think Danny Boyle's this part of this movie is like Danny Boyle's,
it's very British, this movie.
It's very British. And I think the stuff you're talking about with the, callbacks to, 15th century Britain and people using arrows, it's about the history of Britain, but it's also about the current day Britain, of Brexit and all that. And I think it's just to take in summation, Britain and England, one of the biggest, probably the original colonizers, if there is such a thing, just colonizing. And then they have the gall to fucking retreat and be like, fuck all of you immigrants. I know we brutalized half the civilized world for hundreds of years.
I mean, Rome might have a thing to say about being the original colonizers, but I take your point.
Yeah,
Go on.
They just went out to the far reaches of the world, said this is ours, fuck you, and they took everything, and then they retreated and said, fuck you, we don't want any of you on our land. Like, that's got to be the most ballsy fucking thing a country could ever do. And now this movie is very much about that, about isolationism, about not wanting anybody that doesn't look like you on their land. And I think part of that is them, going out and from their own little island and going out and getting supplies and then coming back very quickly and trying to have this, picturesque, it's a Britain, but it's very, Americana and very like, this is our land. This is our culture. Nobody else can come in, that sort of thing, so that was my big brain take on the movie, overall. But yeah, I love the, like I said, Ralph Fiennes was a great like juxtaposition of and sort of pivot of like, oh, this is that scary, creepy doctor guy. We can't talk to him. Don't ever go near him. And it's also very much about, isolationism and being scared of the other and not willing to have a conversation with somebody you don't know. So I think it was very interesting to have, Ralph Fiennes playing this guy that's just like, yeah, I'm just out here doing my thing. And if you guys want to join in, but I'm going to chill
making
here.
Big old bone towers out of skulls and shit.
Big
like I'm doing my thing.
Yes. You were talking about the heart of the movie and them trying to get across, emotionality, and I think they did it very well with the Jodie Comer scene where she's obviously sick and Ralph Fiennes has to break the news to her son and say, I don't know what she has, but she has very advanced cancer and there's nothing we can do and I'm sorry. And that whole scene really, really worked for me. So I like that part of it. And yeah, I thought there was I forget who it was that didn't care for the scene where they're running back to their island at night and have that amazing, like, what do you call it? It was like a alpha, not alpha, sorry, but some sort of, celestial, what am I trying to say? The constellations and all that in the sky, you know what I mean? When they're running back on the causeway. And
yeah, they have that like kind of shot with like the night sky and everything.
Yeah, I loved it. I love that shot. What did you think of that shot?
I thought it was cool, but it felt in that same vein of just like, it's like that Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or whatever. It was like, I'm going to make some weird shit, man. Like, that's kind of what I felt like Danny Boyle was on in this movie.
Yeah, I like that shot. And, speaking to the part that you were talking about with the sort of student film thing and also his, like, I can, build a contraption of iPods. I can make a whole fucking iPhone rig and just do this weird bullet time thing when something gets killed. Isn't that cool? Yeah, it's fine. So I agree with you that was egregious and self-aggrandizing and just very just like, I can do this because I can, and it's very Jurassic Park of like, just because you can doesn't mean you should, Mr. Boyle. So yeah, overall I liked it, didn't love it, but yeah, so that's my thoughts on 20 years later. Yeah,
I think I would agree with pretty much all that. Like I said, I don't think you're wrong. It didn't work for me,
Yeah, fair enough. Let's get to another thing we both watched. Elio watched this twice for extenuating circumstances, so I definitely picked up on some details I wouldn't have otherwise. Why don't you kick it off to Derick? What do you think of Elio?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It's a shame that it's doing so poorly at the box office, and it seems like original Pixar movies can't do well anymore. Although it's holding okay. It's not going to have the comeback that probably Elemental did, but this was a really great movie about being a kid and feeling different and kind of being like an angry kid and feeling like the world has turned its back on you. Like I think this is like Pixar gets a little bit more of the juice that like a regular Disney movie can't do. I think it's able to like touch on some deeper themes about like friendship and about isolation and all that stuff. I really dug this movie. I think it's got some of the coolest like world building in it. I love all the aliens and everything. I love the relationship between the kid and his aunt and how she kind of has to become a parent even though it's never something she never wanted, and his whole deal with her, and how the I forget his name but the like slug kid and his relationship with his dad, and his dad who's like this horrible like the Brad Garrett, like he's like I'm the evil emperor, but then he still like loves it. Like I almost teared up at the end a few times during this movie. So I just thought this was fantastic.
Yeah, let me see. The slug guy's name was, let's see, Elio Saldana, Olga Solis. No, that's the aunt. Glordon. That's
That sounds right.
Glordon, yeah, the
Glordon,
one with
yeah,
alien
yeah,
who
yeah.
Elio befriends. Yep. Let's see, the Lord Grigon. Was played by Brad Garrett. So his son was named Glordon. Very similar.
How did I not remember that? Jeez.
Glorgon. Yeah, come on, it's Glorgon.
Yeah.
Glorgon. I liked it very much as well. Yeah, I was just like I had phases as an adult. I had many phases as a kid. I saw Twisters. I forget which came out first, Twister or Independence Day. Whichever came out first, I was into for that time period. I was a Twister. I was a Storm Chaser kid for a long time, and then when Jurassic Park came out first, so I was a dinosaur kid. Then Twister came out, then I was a Twister kid. Then Independence Day came out, and then I was obsessed with trying to find aliens. I specifically remember a episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, which featured a kid with a computer who used a computer and a satellite dish to contact aliens, and I was trying to figure out how to on my rickety 14.4 modem back in the day, trying to figure out how to sling together some sort of message for space aliens. But yeah, I was definitely an alien kid for a long time, so I very much relate to Elio in that way. I loved, like you said, I loved the spryness, the pluckiness of this kid, and sort of the isolated nature, the isolated feeling of him. He loses his parents, so that makes him that way. But I was just that way out of birth, I guess. So very much related to him in that way, and just not being able to make friends very easily and very angry as a kid. So yeah, I definitely, like you said, relate a lot to that, to those aspects of Elio. And I saw it twice, so I very much picked up on. Did you think near the end when he's cloning Glorgon that he mentioned a couple times like, oh, I can barely tell you apart? I thought that was a tell that he was going to mix them up, and I guess I was wrong. Did you get that feeling as well, or no?
Not really. No. I mean, didn't take that away from it.
Yeah. It's kind of a simplistic story. I think a lot of the Pixar movies are, but this one definitely was, where it's very much, he meets the aliens, they take him aboard, and then you have this very over the top, very, boilerplate, bog standard bad guy. It's Glorgon. He destroys things. Well, why? I don't need a whole backstory. I don't need a sympathetic villain, but it just seemed very, you know what I mean? Just very standard bad guy because he's bad.
That worked for me because you're supposed to see him kind of like he's supposed to be just this stock standard bad guy, but then you realize there's more to him, and he's actually this very caring father and stuff like that, and that he cares about his son more than he cares about being this conqueror. So I enjoyed that. I also wanted to say because I'm rewatching all the Leica movies for a miniseries I'm going to do on my podcast, and this reminded me a bit of Paranorman. Where it's like this kid who's like an outsider, and that is more like horror / fantasy, and this is more sci-fi, but it's the same kind of general conceit where there's this kind of weird kid who doesn't feel accepted, so he goes out and is able to make this connection with aliens or zombies or whatever, and then then he makes towards the end of it, like some of his like bullies end up being the people who like help him out and support him. And I love that ending scene where they're like dodging through all the asteroids, and he ends up having one of the kids who picked on him come and help him out. And then all these just people like on the planet Earth, coming to his defense and helping him. So I really enjoyed that whole aspect of the movie of just, a lot of times people just are afraid, like are mean or afraid of things they don't understand, and that's why they act the way they do. And I really like that from like a kids angry kids perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was Elio. Moving on to another movie we both watched, Materialist. This is the second movie from director Celine Song. The Past Lives was on our, I think, was our both our favorite movie that year, right?
Yeah, it was number one for both of us.
Number one movie of 2023, I want to say. Yeah, we both looking forward to this very much. You know, Pedro Pascal is everywhere. Chris Evans has had a kind of a rocky post MCU career. Dakota Johnson is a person that I know of. No, I'm kidding. She's good. She's good in things. I liked her in Suspiria. Trying to pull some other. Oh, she was in that movie I liked a couple years ago. Check out Real Smooth. I believe you checked out as well, right?
Yeah. I think you liked it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I saw a movie she was in called Am I Okay from 2022. Lost Daughter was actually very good as well. So I've liked. I'll say this: I've liked the movies she's been in.
Have you seen Bad Times at the El Royale? I was a fan of hers in that.
That was the next one I was going to mention. Yeah, I did see that.
Okay,
one.
there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else? I haven't seen an iota of the 50 Shades movies. Have you?
Me either.
Seen? No.
I have not seen any of those films.
Yeah, and Madam Web was a film from last year that came out and was seen by me. So
her press tour of Madam Web is spectacular.
It is pretty great. So I'll go first for this one. I liked it, didn't love it. You know, thought it had interesting ideas. You know, it's from Celine Song's perspective. She was a matchmaker for 6 months. I don't know. I think. It's hard for me. You have to tell a very good story, very compelling story to get to me. And I feel like a lot of people to feel sympathetic for people in this socioeconomic stratosphere. Like their problems are not real problems. And I feel like Chris Evans is definitely a real person who's at that point that I feel like we're at. And a lot of people are at where you're just struggling.
He's poor in the movie. Do you like him?
That's what I was saying. That's literally what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So I liked him. I liked their... you know, in a movie we're going to talk about in a second, I think they have very adult conversations, very adult. They don't immediately solve the conflict, but I feel like they have that will they won't they dynamic that is very much played out. I feel like in my mind, but it's done very well up to a point. But yeah, it's just. Pedro Pascal and Dakota Johnson have like negative chemistry. I feel like it's just, woof. There's really less than nothing there.
Said Pedro and Dakota Johnson.
Yeah. I didn't feel.
Well, I think that works for the movie. Honestly,
yeah.
I do think that works for the movie.
Tell me why.
Well, because that's the whole thing. It's right. It's like these are two people who, on paper, make sense for them to be together, right? Like that's kind of the thesis of the movie, I think. And I'm honestly, I think I'm on the same page overall with you. Like I like this movie. I didn't love it. It's interesting because I was like, oh, like this movie's being billed as very much a by the numbers rom-com, but it's from the person who made Past Lives. What is it actually going to be? And it's probably somewhere in the middle of that. But like, yeah, the whole premise is basically you can check all these boxes. You can go on the dating apps or get a matchmaker or whatever and like find someone who's like, this person should work, but you can't like create that real authentic connection that, you know, you need to fall in love with someone. You can't make yourself fall in love. And that's kind of the thesis of this movie is you'll never be able to replicate it. Like you could be in a situation with someone where on paper it doesn't work. Like he's too poor, blah, 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 blah. And this is like a rich, handsome guy. I should be with him, but you're never going to be able to replicate that. I really thought that was a great hook for the movie. There's some really interesting stuff surrounding that. You know, myself having been through, I'll say maybe a bit of a tumultuous year romantically. It did hit me a little bit. I thought that was all really fascinating stuff. But there's some stuff that, you know, it doesn't completely work. I do, like I said, I think that the Pedro having negative chemistry with Dakota works because it's like, yeah, they should have chemistry and they don't. And that's kind of where they end up in the movie. I think she has a lot better chemistry with Chris Evans, which is what in the movie's favor. But it does some stuff like, you know, and skip ahead, slight trigger warning, like 30 seconds a minute, if you want to. But like there's some stuff where it basically uses another character's sexual assault as character development for Dakota Johnson. And I really didn't like that at the beginning. It kind of comes around towards the end, but I didn't like that as a plot point. Just for her character development, someone else getting assaulted. But overall, I would say that this is a perfectly like fine rom-com, even though it doesn't necessarily, it's not really like a traditional rom-com at all.
Yeah, as the only other person that I know that has seen this movie, I have to ask you, why was Chris Evans calling her buddy? Like that's when I first heard him say that, I was like, oh, that seems like not a term of endearment, but like it's like, oh, hey, buddy, like because they broke up, and he's like calling her buddy now. Is that a thing that he was a pet name, or why do you think he was calling her that?
I think he's trying to be like, what do I call you now? Because hey, we're pals. Like, we're chums. Like, we're not gonna hook up. So, hey, buddy, how's it going, dude? That's the vibe that I took from it.
Gotcha. All right, so yeah, that is the material. That's definitely looking forward to the next thing from Celine's song, but because I very much did like Past Lives, so yeah, very much looking to what she has going on next. All right, let's see what else we got. So yeah, you saw a big budget blockbuster, one that's heating up the summer movie wager charts. You saw Jurassic World Rebirth. I did not see this one, so you can take the lead in all of this. What do you think of Jurassic Park Rebirth?
Yeah, like this was my number 2 most anticipated movie. I obviously loved the Jurassic Park films. You mentioned No Country for Old Men. It's your favorite movie of all time. Jurassic Park might be my favorite movie of all time. And I was excited for this, partially because the Jurassic World trilogy is over, even though this one is branded World. It's really the start of a new series. And so you've got Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali and all these other characters going and just basically being mercenaries on this Jurassic Park island. And it really does retcon like pretty much everything that happened in those the Chris Evans trilogy. It's like none of that mattered, and don't worry about it. I thought this was like a fun adventure flick. Like this is just like, hey, like it's not a great Jurassic Park movie. Like it doesn't really feel like that much of a Jurassic Park movie. It just feels like a fun dinosaur adventure movie with these mercenaries that like you rarely get a pure adventure movie like this nowadays, especially one that is set in the present. So I dug all of that. It's not like a perfect movie. It's weird because there is Jurassic Park stuff, but it's not at the same time. It's like, oh, we're basically redoing the raptors in the kitchen scene from the first one, but with a complete nonsense monster dinosaur. And was it Gareth Edwards, right, who directed this? He has such a fucking hard on for like just monsters. Like it's like, hey, like like the T-Rex, Velociraptor, classic Jurassic Park guys, they're barely going to be in this movie. Like there's one obligatory, and it's probably the best scene in the movie, which says something about the choices that were made in this, but where there's just like a river scene where like a T-Rex is just trying to chomp this family. That's the best scene in the whole movie. Doesn't add anything to anything. The characters in that scene, you honestly could take them out of the entire movie. I did not like that family. Why are they even there? Just make it about the mercenaries, but it's a Jurassic Park movie. I guess you want to put in a family. There's like a raptor for a second. But as far as just like, hey, go into Jurassic Park stuff, that's cool. But like, I'm like, why is this Distortus Rex the fucking big, quote unquote, the big bad of the movie? Like I'm just like, I don't know why that's there, but I still had a fun time with it. I liked this movie overall, and it's towards the top of my Jurassic Park rankings. I'll say that much.
Nice. So, based on just the Jurassic World series, is it better than 3 of those, or where did you put it? You said top 3. So is it past the worlds, Jurassic Worlds?
I would say it's better than I would say the first Jurassic World is probably better than this.
Okay.
And I think that the thing that the Jurassic World movie does and this movie do is that it's a fresh slate. We don't have to find some convoluted way to get these characters back into Jurassic Park, which has always been a hurdle for Jurassic Park sequels. It's like, hey, here's a whole new batch of characters. They're going to this island or this dinosaur place for their own reasons. But then, like when Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, and then the 2 Jurassic World sequels, it's like becomes very convoluted of like, how do we get these? And so it's like, okay, new characters, let's keep it going. I liked that a lot.
Nice. This movie is written by David Koepp, a very popular screenwriter. Worked with Steven Soderbergh a lot with Presence and Black Bag last year. Wrote Indiana Jones style
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. So I'm going through his IMDb or his Wikipedia, as it were. Pretty normal stuff. The Shadow, Mission Impossible, Lost World, Jurassic Park, Snake Eyes, Panic Room. Worked with David Fincher a couple times. And then where is this? Where did it go? 2011, he co-wrote The Little Engine That Could direct-to-video animated feature. That's something.
Oh, all right.
It's very strange. Sometimes writers take on what they can. Directors sometimes do music videos to make the end make the what's the word? Make the ends meet. What am I trying to say?
I wonder if that's something where he did a pass or something.
Maybe. Yeah, that's very strange. Anyways, Jurassic World Rebirth, thumbs up, thumbs down, somewhere in the middle.
I would say a slight thumb up. Yeah, I would recommend this. If you there's just not enough good adventure movies nowadays, and this feels like it's moderately budgeted. If you want to just see some people run around an island and fight dinosaurs and monsters, that's cool. Like I said, the family does not need to be in this movie. But other than that, I thought it was pretty fun. But let me get on my soapbox real fast.
Go ahead.
And my take, because I mentioned the D-Rex, which is, if people don't know, it's the Distorsus Rex. It's this abomination.
D-Rex for you.
All right.
Hey.
It does, because this thing does look like a dick. I will say it does look like a dick a little bit. But with all these movies, I feel like they take the dinosaurs themselves become a metaphor for movies in general, and the Jurassic Park series. The first one's we've created this thing, it's the wonder of CG for the first time, but is that going to be this horrible thing that goes out of control, very prescient. And then the sequel, 2 T-Rexes, this is a sequel, there's 2 of them now, okay, got to double down. And then Jurassic World, it's okay, we've seen dinosaurs. No one's excited by a dinosaur anymore. Now we have to make a new crazy dinosaur that is it's something we've never seen. It's amalgamation, and that's what the Jurassic World movies had become. I think Gareth or the director of that movie very intentionally did that, and I think almost the D-Rex maybe is the same way. It's at this point, this has just become a distortion of what it was before. It's this and they even have a line where they're why is this thing still alive? Why didn't they fucking kill this abomination that clearly did not work? And they're well, it cost millions of dollars to make. You can't just kill it. The stockholders went, and it's that's what the Jurassic Park franchise feels like. It's these things are just, they cost billions of dollars to make. We're just going to keep putting them out because they keep making money. It's this distorted thing of what it once was. It's got 4 arms now, and it's crazy and weird. It's not at all what it used to be, but we're going to keep doing them because they're too profitable to kill. So that's what I think. That's my hot take on the movies and the weird T-Rexes in all of them.
Yeah, I think somebody was mentioning this about the original Jurassic Park, which was 93. So it's after Hook. And I think it was Hook, or was it? I think it was Hook, where they were talking about Spielberg having this massive party on set and be oh, I can do no wrong. And it was very much, 93 was very much a turning point for Spielberg's career, with him doing Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in the same year. So it's very, very telling and very analogous to Spielberg's whole thing, where he helped kick off the blockbuster with Jaws, and then 15 years later he's doing Jurassic Park, and the park is this allegory for blockbusters of selling merch. It's one of the first movies to have merch, probably. Well, obviously Star Wars was the first one, but Jurassic Park and all of this stuff, making this movie where in the movie you have merch already, so it's a very
spared no expense,
exactly. So it's a very possibly knowingly on the nose allegory for filmmaking at that point.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that metaphor has carried through to all of them as it's become more and more distorted to what it is now.
Yeah, exactly. All right, one more for you. This is the movie I was going to see instead of seeing the Elio for the second time. I saw the live action, quote unquote, live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. You've talked about this movie and this series as being very important to you. You love this series very much. So tell me, did you like the live action remake?
So this is so weird for me to talk about, because it's I watched this movie and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just like I have the many other times that I've seen this movie, because it is the same movie. It's it's beat for beat the same movie, which is something I've talked about. Like, what is the point of these live action remakes if they're just doing it exactly the same? And there are minor tweaks, and I don't think any of the tweaks really work. It's like one of those things that's like, oh, here, like this is a little bit different. I and so it's like I don't know how to talk about this movie other than say like, yeah, this was great. I really enjoyed it. It feels less like a movie remake and more like when there's like an HD version of a video game that you really like. It's like, wow, this is good. I really enjoyed it. If I hadn't already seen this movie before, I'd be like, wow, this is fantastic. One of the best movies of the year. Because objectively, it's all really good. But it's the same fucking movie. But it was still really cool to see that with like, a live action cast on an IMAX screen. So I'm so torn on this one because I don't even know how to approach it because yes, it's good, but it's the same thing as the other one.
Just as good as you're saying. So not better, not worse. Kind of okay. Yeah.
It's a little bit worse, but it's just the same fucking movie. know.
Yeah. All right. Anything you picked up on? Like, so it's the same movie. So you basically rewatched the movie. Anything you picked up on that you didn't the first time around?
I mean, I've seen this movie many times before. So there's nothing really, that I was new or anything. There's a couple things that are different. Like there's a whole thing about one of the characters' dads who just sucks in this movie, and that character's like dad was like not in the original. Yeah. But like I'm like, you don't need that because you already have the whole thing about like Hiccup's dad not accepting him. So it feels superfluous. I don't know why they added that. But I will say, speaking of Hiccup's dad, Jerry Butler is the one member of the cast who returns. And yeah, like you can't recast. Like that's a great performance, both in live action and in the voice. It's really great, and it was really cool to see this realized in that live action setting. If I had to rewatch this, though, I probably would rewatch just the animated one at this point.
Gotcha. All right, well. So there we go. That's all we watched this week. So yeah, I'll talk about the one I just watched. You did not catch up with this film I'm going to talk about right now, did you?
Not yet. Yeah.
I
have not seen it. No.
All right. So talk about the themes of this film. All right. So I'm going to be talking about Superman.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Choices, your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. Somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
Too many spoilers, so I don't have to get out the spoiler alarm. But yeah, one of the biggest movies of the year so far, one of the biggest movies of the year, of the summer, directed by, of course, James Gunn, starring David Cornsweet. Somebody was talking on a podcast recently, not Blank Checks, I know that's a running bit about David living in the UK. I forget who was saying it. They were like, oh yeah, it's not Cornsweet, it's Cornsweet? I don't know. Anyways, David Cornsweet as Superman, Richard Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and some other folks, Nathan Fillion as Green Gardner. The
Green Gardner, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner, thank you. Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl. Hawk person, not Hawk. I was about to say Hawk Lady. Hawk Girl.
Girl.
Hawk Girl. I love this movie. The movie's fucking awesome. Probably one of the best Superman movies in a very long time. Talked off mic about the listening to film cast walking home from seeing this film, and they loved it as well. It's getting very high marks across the board. Like we said, talking about the summer movie wager, we'll refresh right now. Current time recording, Superman is sitting at a hot domestic 137 million. This is Tuesday, so that's the full weekend, full money it made. Cost whatever, like 300 million, as all these movies do. Technically,
that's only domestic too. We should point out.
So looking at a box office of about 232 million so far. That's just from Wikipedia. So it's doing well. I hate to just talk about the numbers right off the bat, but it's doing well. It's got to make a lot of money to make its money back, but it's doing well. I loved it. I loved it a lot. I do want to, before my brain melts out of my head, I just wanted to get my top of head thoughts, big brain thoughts. This movie and superhero movies in general will be remembered around this time, and I think maybe even retroactively, as a thing in this movie, and a thing that's been shown in a lot of superhero movies, is people going about their daily lives as massive tragedies, atrocities, catastrophes happen around them. Just living their lives. That's what we do every day. We look at our phones and there's another atrocity. There's never another law being broken by a president. There's just these massive shifts in culture and economics and all of this stuff happening every fucking day. And we just go on living our lives. And that happens throughout this movie over and over again, of these massive battles happening in the background. You can see it through the windows in the buildings, and people are just going on living their lives. And it's like, yeah, of course, what else are we going to do? But I think it's very telling about our current day, current culture and current world that we're living in, where these atrocities are happening in front of our faces and on our phones, and we just go on living our lives, to the better or worse. So I think that's kind of my big brain overall thought about this movie and about superhero movies in general, from this time period of being on our phones and having shit happening around the world, and we're just going on living like it's kind of happening. So to talk about the movie itself, I think David Cornsweet is an incredible Superman. I think the thing people talk about when they talk about people playing Superman is, he's a great Superman, but how was he as Clark Kent? And I think he was good. But I think there wasn't enough Clark Kent in this movie. I think there wasn't enough Ma and Pa Kent, and I don't think there was enough interaction between Clark Kent and Lois Lane. I think this movie is 2 hours. I think James Gunn and DC was probably afraid of putting out another movie that was too long. So I think they probably cut out a lot of that stuff, if I had to guess, whatever they cut out. So I think that's a slight hit on this movie, that I could have used more of that stuff. So just going down the list, Nicholas Hoult was a very, very good Lex Luthor. I think there's just so much in this movie. That's what they talk about the film cast, is there's so much going on in this movie and so much they want to say. And I think Nicholas Hoult does a very good job of sort of delivering this exposition, delivering these motivation lines, this great soliloquies and these great monologues about why he's doing what he's doing. And I think they're very quick and they're very concise, and I think he delivers them very well. And I think by the end of this movie, David Cornsweet is also saddled with saying the themes in the movie and saying the idea of the movie and saying what Superman has to say, because there is this confrontation between him and Lex at the end. And again, it's also very contained and he has to say it very quickly and because it's the climax of the movie, and it's like just post battle, and he's screaming at Lex, and so I think he delivers those lines as well as he can in that moment. It's a James Gunn ass movie. It's a James Gunn ass movie. I think it's a very good James Gunn movie. There's that scene in Guardians 3 that it's sort of one shot fight scene in a hallway. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So this whole movie
got the Beastie Boys.
It's got this very wide angle lens. It's very in your face, and you can sort of see a lot of the scenes stretched out before you. And a lot of this movie is shot like that. I think you could probably see that in a lot of the previews for this movie. And I think that's one of the issues people had with it, was just how it looked. And a lot of this movie is shot like that. Even some of the non-action scenes, some of the dialogue scenes between a lot of the characters is shot with that wide angle lens and very sweeping camera movement. And I think it works very well for most most of those scenes. I do love that he just drops us into the middle of a world that's already has metahumans and has all these. The Justice Gang is featured in this. They don't explain any of them or where they came from. They don't explain their power set or what they want or where they're going or where, is there going to be Justice League? Is there going to be more metahumans? Is there going to be more of this? And they don't explain any of that. I think mostly to its credit, mostly to a positive outcome in this movie. So yeah, without going into too many spoilers or any of that, I really loved it. And very, very interested to hear your take as well.
Yeah, I need to see this one. A couple of my friends that I usually go to movies with were seeing this last week, but I was at a wedding, so I have not been able to go yet, but I plan on seeing it soon.
Yeah, definitely recommend that to you and to everybody listening. So yeah, had a great time with that. All right, so moving on to Letterboxd assignments. I saw my assignment 2 weeks in a row, or two podcasts in a row. I saw my assignment again. So, and again, I saw a movie in 4K. I picked this up on the last, not Barnes and Noble sale, but the last Criterion sale. I picked this up. The Heroic Trio from 1993, directed by Johnny To, starring Michelle Yeoh, Anita Mui, and Maggie Cheung. I believe this is one of the only times Maggie Cheung and Michelle Yeoh have been in a film together, despite their long storied career as actors. This is going to go in the category of movies Damian saw, just so he can say, I saw Wing Chun before. It's a movie that he featured Wing Chun and featured I forget Wire Fu, or what do they call that from Crouching Tiger? I think it's not Wire Fu, it's Wire.
No, it's
something.
There's like a name for it, but I'm still out of it.
It's okay. Yeah, it's an interesting sort of out there fantasy kung fu, fantasy martial arts film. It's really out there. It's really like that. You're literally defying gravity. You're literally just walking on ropes and doing crazy flips and
wushu. Is that what is the
wushu? Yes, thank you. Wushu sort of thing. Yeah, it's just crazy out there. Supernatural bad guy wants to steal the soul of babies. So this thief in the night has to go steal babies for her master. So yeah, it's a very good one of those. If you're into classic early 90s Hong Kong martial arts films with Michelle Yeoh, definitely check out Heroic Trio, which is the first movie in the Heroic Trio and Executioner's duology. So I have that to look forward to as well.
All right. Super cool.
Yes. Your pick was The Odyssey, and I think we had to look this up and figure out what this was. So yeah,
yes.
Did you what was this, and did you like it?
So this is the Florence and the Machine quote unquote movie, but it's actually just a bunch of music. It's like, when sometimes like a musician will come out with like, here's a movie, and it's like, this is just a bunch of music videos stuck together with like some random interstitial stuff, and sometimes it'll have a plot, but this one is not even. There's barely a plot. This is just like it. It feels very experimental. It feels like it's basically like these are all things that happened in Florence's life that were impactful and important, and it's as a Florence and Machine fan, I liked it. I've seen a good handful of those music videos before. But I wouldn't say this is like a real movie, to be honest.
It's sort of like Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Even less structured than that, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's just like shit happening. It's just like she's in a room and her and her boyfriend breaks up, and then here's a car crash in the rain, and she's singing about something. And you're like, all right, on to this now.
Okay, all right. So with that, let's get to our new Letterboxd assignments. I added a couple, took out a couple, so we'll see what we get when I hit shuffle. Got a movie from 2022. I wanted to check out 3 years ago. Still on there. It's called Return to Seoul, directed by Davy Chow. It was in that sort of. I think it was nominated for Best International Film at the Oscars that year. Let me see if it really was. Let me see. Oscars. Return to Seoul. Oscars. See. Yes, it was selected as the Cambodian entry for Best International Feature. Those things are always so weird, right? It's like
there
was some
Korea. because it's Seoul, but all right.
Yeah. I think it's because one of those things where it's distributed by, the movies like this are always distributed by like 7 different distributors. It says France, distributed by France, Germany, Belgium, North and Latin America, Middle East, so literally all the places. North and Latin America, Middle East, Australia, New Zealand, and Cambodia. Okay.
Well,
All right. I will check that out.
Hear how this one goes.
Yeah. All right. So that was my pick. Derick, spin the wheel. Let me know what you get.
Let's go ahead and hit when by Sullivan. Okay. I got the 1941 film Sullivan's Travels, which is supposed to be a kind of classic movie. Yeah. I don't know why I have this on my list, but it's supposed to be really good. Maybe it's just the Preston Sturges film.
Yeah.
So I'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, that was the one I got.
Veronica Lake is in it, I guess.
Yeah, that was one of
Maybe
those.
I added it because she's like a classic beauty or something. I don't know.
That was one of those movies that, just like every budding cinephile back in the day, I picked up the 1001 movies you should watch before you die, and that was always I'd flip through it and like try to do early shuffle, and I'd always land on that and be like, no, I'm not gonna watch that.
We'll see how it goes, I guess.
Right. Yeah, let me know. All right, so we'll watch those for next time, and for next time. July 18th, one day before my birthday, we got Smurfs, directed by Chris Miller. So again, we talked about early on about the Chris Miller, and I forget his directing duo partner's name. Or is this a different guy? I always get confused if this Chris Miller is the same Miller of Miller and other guy fame.
Lord and Miller.
Lord and Miller. This is not the Lord and Miller. Sorry.
Okay.
This is the Miller that did Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots, Turbo, Penguins of Madagascar, Boss Baby films. Okay. So there's that.
All right.
We also have a reboot. Sorry, not a reboot. Legasequel of I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's a Legasequel because it's featuring the stars of the first I Know What You Did Last Summer, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah, so
that's a thing.
Those movies are, yeah. I mean, I never saw the original or cared about the original, but I remember it coming out when I was, like a tween or whatever.
A tween, yes, I would have been. Let's see, when did the first one come out? Like 2000, right?
Something like that, like 99, something.
The sequel to this
98,
one,
maybe
98. Yes. Oh, sorry. The first one was 97. Okay. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer was a sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer from 97. So that deluge of Scream type movies. I remember I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out around the same time as Urban Legend, which also featured a guy with a hook. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spooky stuff.
Yeah. We also have Eddington, the new Ari Aster film. Ari Aster just moving further and further away from his horror roots.
Right.
Yeah. His last one being Beau Was Afraid, which was scary in that nobody knew anything what it was about. Let's see. Where was his movies? Hereditary came out in 2018. Midsommar 2019. Less horror. Beau Was Afraid. Less horror. Eddington probably even less horror. But we will see. We will see.
Yeah. I mean, this is his COVID movie, so see how that goes.
We will see how that goes. The following week, the next film in the blockbuster superhero genre of 2025, The Fantastic Four: First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman, starring all the people we know: Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss-Bachrach, Joseph Quinn playing the four people. Eben Moss-Bachrach. Here's the thing about Eben Moss-Bachrach. He's the thing. Yes, chef.
Yeah.
Yes, chef. Yeah.
Yes, chef.
Looking forward to that. What do we think about that in terms of like MCU films pushing the whole MCU forward? This is going to be the last one of this year, right? So, you think it's going to succeed as a film and also push the MCU forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to be good. It was on my most anticipated of the year. It was up there. It's also the one I picked for the number one in the summer movie wager. I think this is the kind of stuff I want to see from the MCU, where it's like this is weird Elseworlds thing. It's in another dimension or whatever, but it's obviously gonna, the end of it. I think will definitely, we know from the Thunderbolts post credits, is gonna kind of cross over with the main continuity. So does that mean that their reality is gonna get or their Earth is gonna get eaten by Galactus and they escape to our Earth? But I'm excited to see what happens with this kind of, post, like this retro futuristic 60s that they're in. I think it's a really interesting take.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very, very excited to see it for, I'm always the guy here talking about like, yeah, what's it mean? Yeah, great movie, but what's it mean for the MCU? What is it? What do we got going forward here, guys? What are we doing here?
Well, sometimes movies can just be their own thing, and you don't need to propel something forward. They can exist to just be good movies.
Posh.
They don't need to. Okay.
Just kidding. One last thing. We got Happy Gilmore 2. Speaking of Lego sequels, Happy Gilmore 2. It was a thing literally no one asked for, but apparently it's being foisted upon us July 25th on Netflix. That is the most Netflix-ass movie I've ever heard of.
I mean, I love Happy Gilmore 1, so I'm going to watch it. Happy Gilmore, that was one of my, classic Adam Sandler movies of the 90s that I would watch a lot, growing up. So, I don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm excited. Like Julie Bowen, Chris McDonald, they're back. Benny Safdie's in it apparently. So,
Yes.
I'm Ben Stiller is back in this one. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what exotic locales Adam Sandler has cooked up to vacation in while he filmed this film.
Right.
All right, so that is it. That's all we got. Let me pull up the other things. I always forget to do the plug. I always forget to copy and paste the plugs from the other thing. Here we go. So Medium Stack, Medium, Damian.sherman.medium.com. Go over there for my writing. Letterboxd for my musings on the No Country for Old Men and any movies that I watch. All my hilarious one-liners. I'm up to 150 likes on my hilarious one-liner for... what was it called? Omni Loop. I said something somewhere one at a time, which is obviously a reference to Everything Everywhere All at Once. So yeah,
good stuff. The people love it.
Yeah, it just comes to me out of the inspiration. Just flows out of me sometimes.
Mm-hmm. You're the Shakespeare of the Letterboxd.
I am the what's the American author? The guy with the mustache. Always with the witty
Mark
mustache.
Twain?
I'm the Mark Twain of Letterboxd. Film essayist on YouTube. I am uploading stuff. I'll be uploading some stuff pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. Spotify for podcasters. Go to my interview with Cinematech, B.R. Yeager. Anthony Glygos he's a game developer, and he's on the team that is doing Subnautica 2. Maybe do a solid and look up Subnautica 2 dev team. Some shenanigans are going on over there, which is interesting. iFanboy Connor Kilpatrick is celebrating 25 years of doing iFanboy, which is a major accomplishment. 25 years of the website, 20 years of doing the podcast every week. They never miss a show, which is fucking insane.
That is incredible.
That is incredible. Yeah.
That's the thing. 25 years. That's how long Apple Podcasts has been around.
That is
actually. Is it only 20 years? It's insane.
So they've been doing. In 2000 they started the website iFanboy, and then in 2007 they started the podcast. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
No, sorry. 2005. It's 20 years. So yeah, 25 years of the website, 20 years of the show. They started it in 2005. Yeah. Crazy.
Which is the same year that Apple Podcasts launched. Or
Yes.
I guess it was iTunes then or something.
Yeah, you had to actually download onto your iPlayer, iPod to get the podcast. Yeah. Go to Discords, iFanboy, Ringer Discords, Letterboxd Discords, Blank Check Discord, Hey Roto Discords. I'm always active on there. I am Conan the Barbusian this month because I watched Conan the Barbarian for the first time. It could be off. It's
terrible screen name.
I'm the Mark Twain of Discord screen names.
Oh God, awful.
Well, they're not.
You're the Tommy Wiseau of Discord screen names.
I'll take it. All right, Derick, what you got to plug?
Yeah, of course, got to mention Underrated, my other podcast that I do, which comes out every other Monday, where I talk about underrated films, as the name would imply. I just talked about Last Night at Soho with my friend Andrew Lindy. And then I'm going to be starting soon a retrospective on all of the films of Laika. There's going to be starting with a bonus episode of Coraline on the Patreon, but that'll be also on the main feed, going through all of the films from Laika. And then with Andrew Lindy and a few other great folks, I will be hosting a panel at Comic-Con not long after this episode drops. So on Thursday, the 24th, if you are going to Comic-Con on that first day, I'll be having a panel at 4 o'clock in the San Diego Central Library. So you need a Comic-Con pass to get in. But I will be talking about the value of a director's cut. So very excited that I can finally mention what the panel is about, the hidden value of a director's cut. So come out and see that, hear me and some really smart people talk about films and what director's cuts we like and what we think about them.
Very nice, dude. Congrats again on all this, all the success with that stuff. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So for Midnight Film Society, I've been Damian.
I've been Derick.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.